up, nerds and nerdettes, and we little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G, the Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. You're here to find out what I want to talk about on today's Tabletop Takeout Tuesday. And this is, you're getting to hear a lot of this. This game is a Kickstarter, and I am glad that I did. Part of the reason I kickstarted is because it's a one-player game, but it's not a solitary play game, only you can play up to 4. So why don't we get to the table and talk about, from Hypercube Games, Dungeon Brawler. Mixing an RPG style board game with 80 side-scrolling video games. All right, I'll see you all down at the table. And here we are down at the table, so I can talk to you about the Kickstarter game that really excited me this much. And that's Dungeon Brawler by Hypercube Games. So one of the reasons I backed this is because it's a small, fast game, something that not only looked fun to me, but looked like it would be a nice filler game. Then I saw that it could be soloed. That caught my attention as well. So I did end up backing it. I liked everything else that I saw, and it was a success. Here's a copy. You've already seen it. Why have I ended up enjoying this game so much? I think one of the reasons is because, to me, I know firsthand what the arcade games of the 80s and 90s were. And I was a big fan of all of them. But especially side-scrolling games, like the Dungeons & Dragons video game. Rolling Thunder was another one that I enjoyed a lot. Even some of the up and down scrolling games, it's still the same mechanisms, like elevator action and Spy Hunter, let's say. So going into this, I had a knowledge of what it's supposed to feel like. Now on top of that, throw in the fact that they're trying to make this feel like an RPG. Or at least a fantasy game, if not a full-fledged RPG. There's a little bit of character advancement, and that comes in the deck building. So let's break this down. They do a great job. After playing this game, I have to admit they do a great job at capturing that feel of the side-scrolling arcade game. The ones that I'm so familiar with, and some of you may be as well. Now, one of the ways that they achieve this to make it feel like a video game is the use of combos. I love that idea that some cards are going to combo off of other cards, and how you manage it in your hand, you're literally setting this up. So you're in pretty much full control outside of the random drawer that you're going to get. You score your cards off to the side, and then those cards can be used to buy new cards. This is where I also enjoyed the fact that it has a little bit of a tip of the hat to Magic, the card gathering, and other similar games, in that there are some cards in this that are very specific to an element, and they have their elemental colors. And if you don't have access to one of those, you can't use them. But during the game, you can get access to it. Certain traps or monsters that you may defeat and then end up in your hand that you can score out and then get back into the deck as you're building your deck. They may be of a new color that you can then add in some of these magic spells from the loot. It works out really good, and the fact that it's always advancing. Everything is advancing. As you, from turn to turn, as you're defeating the monsters, it keeps coming at you. And you yourselves, with your party, are able to move forward within your own party line. So you have that movement back and forth, especially if someone in the party may attack with a physical melee attack, while someone else may have a ranged arrow or a spell or something. So you're going to want different placement, and it's totally up to you. So you're sliding yourself and your party back and forth for optimum placement of combat, while in front of you the monsters and the traps and the doors. Sometimes a door comes up and anything behind it you can't see until you get to that door, so you don't even know how to prepare. Yes, this all came together to feel just like a side-scrolling fantasy arcade game from the late 80s, early 90s era. Now, with the combo thing and the fact that you can move the players around the board, it also gives the opportunity to set up other players. So even though there are no cards that you can directly combo off of each other, you can use your special maneuvers to get someone into a better position for after your attack, them to do the coup de grace. And I really like that. Now, as I said, it's a deck builder, and I'm not generally crazy on deck builders. The few that I've talked about, obviously I do 100% enjoy. But just because the game is a deck builder, that does not draw me to it. So I think the simple fact that this is a deck builder and I enjoy it adds on to how good of a game this is, that it's going to draw in someone that isn't a mechanism that is going to normally make you want to buy a game or even just play a game. But for me, that works with Dungeon Brawler. And the rules. I found the rules easy to learn. Although I made a couple of mistakes the first few games, most of that was because of just lack of remembering to do something or trying to do everything at once. Understand the new rules, play the game, film, watch for any live comments, and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, the rules are really, really easy, not just to learn, but to teach. And one of the things about the rules that I really enjoyed, not getting into it too much, but a rule that really stood out to me was how the attacks happen in the order, so to speak. And the way that happens is it's always the leftmost card, whether it's a character or a monster in the line, the leftmost card that has not activated. And this plays a big part of the game when you're moving your party around. If you decide to take a movement before you take your action, then you're going to move into that new spot and then slide up to signify that you're activated, while the card behind you hasn't even been activated yet. And this is where you get a lot of tactics in the game, is by doing this and manipulating it to your advantage. And the first couple of games out, I was learning that. And by the time I finally understood the importance of it, it kind of opened up a whole new game to me, tactically speaking. And it grew my enjoyment even more of it. It's not like I figured something out and it became easier, so therefore it became more boring. Not at all. Opening this up opened up my mind and made the game, yeah, I'll say it made the game better once I understood how to do that. Overall, this game is a great game to have. If you're looking for a fast game, a filler style game, something that's going to take under an hour, Hypercube Games, their publication of Dungeon Brawler, their title, might be what you're looking for, especially if you love fantasy games and you either have a first-hand memory and love of arcade games from the 80s and 90s, or if the nostalgia is second-hand. You didn't live through it, but it's something you've encountered and you've learned to love, enjoy, and appreciate. This game will bring it all together for you. And there's enough cards to make the replayability much larger than you would expect, but it also gives the opportunity for more, I think, and more expansions to finally come down the road from Hypercube Games. Not just expansions of new characters and maybe some of the monsters, but maybe even a larger expansion like maybe Cavern Brawler or Forest Brawler or something that would actually change it up. It'd be nice, and I can see it. It's very easy for them to be able to do that if the game is successful enough and enough of the fans of the game ask for it. So yeah, you're looking for a fast filler game, small, easy to travel with, easy to teach, easy to play, fast to set up and understand, then Dungeon Brawler. Please, go check it out. It's definitely a game that I'm happy to have on my shelf. Maybe you will too. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G. The Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. And my friends, I am out of here.